Welcome to the Sports Resort,
the People's Sports Show. Real talk unfiltered. With your host, Garrett Jonkins.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Sports Resort with D. Johnson. Today, I got my guy from Detroit, Michigan, Chris Okoye, man. Chris is a very accomplished guy, actually an author of a book, which actually I'm a big fan of. He played football, also played the NFL a little bit, just been through everything, been through a lot of things in his life. And I always like to get people on here that have some good information for kids and parents out there. How's it going, Chris?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored. How you doing, brother?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm out here in Houston, Texas, man. It's burning up out here. Already 100 degrees of humidity. I mean, you walk outside right now, big boy, you probably lose 10 pounds just walking to your car.
And it's freezing and raining up here, brother.
Hey, that's a good thing there, man. That's a good thing. Chris, I kind of want to hop right into it, man, and I want to hit on on the youth part of it and the sports part of it. I mean, you was a guy who, when you came out of high school, you wasn't highly recruited. You played ball with D2?
Yeah, Fair State.
So how many offers did you have coming out of high school playing football?
Coming out of high school, I had a couple of JUCOs and then probably like 4 or 5 Division II offers.
For real. So how was that feeling, right? Not having a big boy, because you're in Detroit, Michigan, right? You're
Yes,
where
sir.
Michigan University is, right?
Yes,
How
sir.
was that coming out? Not having a lot of big school offers.
I think for me, I've always been like a pretty self-aware person. Kind of explains my second book, Extreme Self-Awareness. So I started playing football late. I'm Nigerian, so there wasn't really a big push for athletics. So I didn't really get into playing football probably until like sophomore, junior year of high school. So it was kind of a late.
Hold on, time out. So you didn't start playing football until your junior year of high school?
Yeah, like sophomore year, but yeah, like freshman football, I wasn't really feeling the vibes. I wanted to play quarterback and safety, and they were like, "Oh no," because that was Cam Newton era. So I saw Cam Newton. I'm like, "I'm 6'8", he's 6'8". They was like, "Oh no," so I was like, "Yeah, I'm cool." And then my sophomore year, I met the Mac twins, and they kind of took me under their wing, made me feel loved me up, and then I kind of started finding a love for the game. Then, so yeah, I started off late. So I was self-aware. I knew I probably wasn't going to go big time, or that wasn't even an expectation at that time for me. I was just blessed the opportunity to get my schooling paid for.
Cool. So parents and kids, do y'all hear that? He didn't play Little League football. He didn't play none of that stuff. He didn't really start playing football till he got to high school. And that's why I tell people, to be great at something, you don't have to start at 7 years old smashing heads. And that's a good testament right there. Because a lot of people don't, they think the kid got to play a year-round tackle football from 7 on, smashing heads. I call it a car crash. Why put your kid in a car crash from 8 years on all the way through, right? You don't have to do that. And you still got it. You made it in college. You played college ball, and you made it to the NFL. That's a good testament right there. And you need to man, you need to tell a lot of people that that you didn't start playing. I didn't know that. I didn't know you started playing there. So boom, you get to college, right? You play D2 football, right? You balling, you playing D tackle, and then next thing you know, you have an opportunity to play in the NFL. How was that feeling?
I think for me, once again, it was just an overall blessing. Like I told you, I came from a family that was really big on academics. So I was preparing for law school. I was studying for my LSAT my junior year, and I get a call from my college head coach, just letting me know, hey, it's junior day. It's 17 scouts down here to see you. And at that point, it became a reality, and I began to consider it more. Before, I was just a person that woke up, go to work, go home, love the weight room, love training, enjoy working out. As you know, you always joke about my suit. So I always loved running and lifting and jumping, but then it became a reality.
Boy, like them tight suits. Big boy, 300 with the tight suit on. I feel you.
Yeah, man, shout out to my tailor, man. Shout out to my tailor.
Yeah, he be on point there. Hey, man, and shout out to your head coach in college or whatever coach that reached out and told you that, that, hey, some scouts here looking at you. So you get the opportunity, you play in the NFL. Then life after sports, right? After football is over with, right? How was that adjustment, right? How was that adjustment?
Well, glory be to God. I always say I was more fortunate than others just because I went to a high school that prepared me more than others. I had a family that kind of prided themselves on kind of that equilateral triangle. As you know, our school, the standard has always been academic, athletic, and spiritual excellence. So I kind of always grew up on that pathway. I went to a Division II school, so I didn't necessarily plan to go to the league. So I had a pretty serious major, being undrafted. I took my signing bonus. I started a business right away. I grew up preaching and teaching in the church. So when I transitioned into entrepreneurship, from speaking and group homes and started writing books like my third year plan, I just kind of was already ready. So I was very involved in high school in things outside of sports. And I think that's a big thing for people to really remember, right? Regardless of if you played 10 years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, by the time you get close to 30, you're going to be about done, or at some point you're going to be done. So you still have just understanding that you have so much life to live outside of your sport and just preparing yourself as much as possible. I always say you only work out for 3, 4, 5 hours a day, and the rest of that time should be spent towards developing and figuring yourself out. So I already had an entrepreneurship spirit. I came from a family in high school that prepared me for that. So right away, my first signing bonus, started investing, starting businesses, and writing books and speaking. And so, yeah, I just always had an identity outside of sports. So that's the biggest
Gotcha
thing.
on
Is
that.
that's
Gotcha. I mean, Detroit Capital Central does do a good job of helping people, kids, and that family atmosphere, and also big ups to your family.
oh, absolutely.
Uh, I live out here in Houston. It's a big Nigerian community out here, right?
Yes, sir.
And I had a guy train Big O. I can't pronounce Big O last name. It's one of them long Nigerian names. Actually, and also I have a Nigerian family that I train that run track.
Okay.
Something in y'all food that y'all eat in Nigeria growing up at some point that
It's
it
that
makes
it's
y'all
that fufu,
athletes,
man.
right?
It's that goat. It's that high protein diet, man.
Hey, because I got some girls I train. One runs that right. I mean, I got some dogs, and but they're always, they always deep in their faith a lot. Just something I
That's
think
the most.
about y'all
That's the
culture.
most. That's the most important part, man. You have to gain that knowledge of self and that knowledge of God and self. That's just very, very important. Knowing who you are, knowing how much you're worth, and knowing whose you are. That's a very major component, really, of all things in life. It's like that. What they call it, like Maslow's hierarchy of need. Like you gotta have that spiritual balance, man. Faith is everything, man. It's
Yeah, you're right on
everything.
that. I like what your shirt said. God got this.
God's got this,
God's
yes,
got
sir.
this. So, hey, what made you want to write a book?
So when I grew up in high school, I had a really, really, really good English teacher, and I also had a
Hmm.
really, really good poetry teacher. His name was Mr. Griffin, Kevin Griffin. So he got me into speaking and poetry, and I was in his creative writing class. And so I always journal. In my book, I discussed that's kind of how I always articulated my feelings and composed my thoughts. And so it got to a point where I was always just writing and journaling. And then by the time I signed my second NFL contract, I got drafted to the USFL. Business was doing well. I thought it was just time to share. It was time to be a vessel. And, as a speaker, you can only be one place at one time.
Hey, you just hit a good thing, and then you thought that it was time to share, and that's why I'm a big fan of sharing your experience, your knowledge. I tell people, I feel like if you pass away tomorrow, you don't give nothing back, like, and
Yes,
you got
sir.
all this knowledge and been through life. What have you really gain, right?
Absolutely.
You done took everything to the grave, so you got to give back. That's why I'm a big fan of sharing knowledge and sharing people like you to other people I know. Like, why? Who am I not to give back? Because, right, unfortunately, we all one day gonna pass away, right? So we have to
Absolutely.
give back to somebody, right? Not your
Absolutely.
family, a friend, kids, things like that. It's definitely a give back thing. So on another note, you write your book, you're going around, you're speaking, you're doing speaking engagement. How is that affecting you, right? Seeing people, you grabbing an audience and seeing kids and parents and regular people just say, "Man, appreciate that, man." Is that rewarding to you?
I think it's a way for me to give thanks for all that God has given to me. The Bible says, freely you were given, so freely you give. And so it's being able to see what you can do when you just follow Him. That's a big thing. I always say, whether it's speaking, playing football, business, or saving someone, I can do nothing of myself, as the Bible says. So it's just being a tool for God. That's the biggest thing. And it feels good seeing faith with works paying off. People always say it, oh, faith without works is dead. You don't work, you don't eat. But very suddenly do you get to see the results of it or the fruit from it, or someone does receive the results or the fruit and they have the humility to come back and share it from a humble perspective
Right.
of it ain't just, oh, it's just me. I grinded. I did it by myself. I'm like, no, without God, I'm nothing. Without my family, I'm nothing. Without my support system, my coaches, my teachers, the minister, the teachings, all the things that have helped me to ultimately become the man that I am today. Just giving thanks to, so many people, they make it big and they want to shout out this book or this speaker, man. When it's shout out your home roots, man. Shout out to people that you really know that you can touch and you can grab.
Correct.
Uh,
Bingo.
Like, like Guy Monarch, I always shout him out. He was my high school strength coach. Also helped me out
Hey,
in
that's
college.
hey, you hit it dead on the nose, bro. Because I done been at some like people see me now. Oh, these young you successful, you do it. I'm like, bro, I done been at some low points in life, had nothing, dollar to my name every day, trying to figure it out. But I always had that root of people who always was there, and I always, give them like, hey, man, y'all saved me. Y'all just don't know between y'all, God, and this little group of four or five people, y'all saved my life. And that's big though. And that's huge, man, that you understand that. Like I'm a fan like you. I'm not finna get on the internet and shot this blah blah blah, this fame. I don't know
All
them. They
that,
didn't
yeah,
really
all
help
that, oh
me.
yeah, all that fakeness, man. I'm not with all that
Yeah,
clout
I'm not
chasing,
doing that. I'm
man.
like, and we had this conversation before, like people, when you real, people know you real. I'm like authentic.
Absolutely.
Like you gonna come across me, I'm me. Like I ain't no faking about you. Either like me, or you don't like me. Like, most people like me, so that's kind of cool. So Chris, before we hop out, man, because I know you got to go run and do a couple things. I like to give kids and parents, man, a little information, especially on the sports side of it. We live in a time now where every sports is huge, right? We got the internet, NIL money, blah blah blah, everything running around. What advice could you give to that parent and kid out there that want to play college sports?
Control the controllables. That's the big thing I would say. Is control the controllables and maximize every opportunity. Always tell people, we live in a world where you do something great, whether it's making it to the league or writing a book. They always ask for a so-called like secret to success. And I say I don't have a secret, but I do have a few steps. And if you can just focus on getting better, maximize your opportunities, embrace your journey, your path, no one else's, not only will it lead you to happiness, but it will lead you to success. So that's always what I tell people.
Hey man, that's the real one right there, bro. We're gonna finish on that note. That's running the real thing. When you control what you control, that's all you can
That's
do.
all you can do.
That's all
That's
you
all.
can.
Always tell people. I go back to my when I first signed with LA. It was like I was playing for free in the spring league. Man, I was going through a breakup. My agent died. All that happened within 2 months, and all I did was get up and go to my high school and just kept working out, kept training, and then just by doing that, staying consistent, controlling my effort, my attitude. A day before the first preseason game, the Chargers signed me. Right, so it's just I'm a true testament to just in the midst of adversity, you must still execute. No one owes
Yeah,
you
that's hey
anything.
that
Everything's a blessing.
hey that's real. That because I never forget when I was in college. I think it was my sophomore year, probably the best year I had in college. And during that year, my grandpa passed away. I'm like, shit, what can I do? Right? He raised me, right? And I never forget his weight. I didn't go to practice, I think, none that week, but all my whole coaching staff showed up. I never
Uh,
forget that. Whole coaching staff showed up to his wake the night today. Like
that's
everybody. I
love.
never forget.
That's
My
love.
cousin came to me. He said, man, much respect, bro. You got some real coaches, bro, because all of them came that day. All. And I never forget that like it was yesterday, bro. And I look back, I say, damn, coach them. Everybody in there, like the whole staff. And I never forget that, like to this day now. R.I.P. Coach Thomas. But man, Chris, appreciate you having you on, bro.
Always, family.
I never forget the first day I met you. You probably don't even remember this. You was walking down the hall, and you were like, and they were like, "Yeah, big boy play football." And I was like, "Yeah, bro, you want to play in the league, bro? You need to get a little, you need to lean up a little bit. You need to drop about 10 or 15 pounds." I don't know if you remember. I told you
No,
that.
I do.
And,
No, I do remember that. No, that was actually you told me that was actually right before I signed with. That was right before I went to the spring league in the spring and then signed with the Chargers. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. The next thing I saw you, I say, "Oh, big boy, done kind of leaned up a little bit."
That's the thing.
But
I
I don't know.
mean,
I'm just one of them guys. I tell people anything, shit.
You
They just
you
got to.
real, you real. I mean, we have a wealth of knowledge, but I've always been coachable. So you give me some game, I'm implementing, I'm executing. You know
Yeah,
what
nah,
I'm
you
saying?
took it in. You just with a smile and stuff. You took it in. But hey, man, appreciate you having you on, man. It's a blessing, man. Hey, have a good day, man. Give back to
Absolutely,
the kids over there at CCU helping, bro. They appreciate you. I see when you're around them, they all glow, man. Just keep giving back and like you say, control what you control, help who you can help, and everything else gonna fall into place. This D Junk, man, signing off for the Sports Resort. I gotta get to the gym. I got like 10 kids that waiting on me. But hey, man, blessing having you on. Hey, peace out, everybody. Thanks, Chris, for having you on. Peace, Chris.